Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins suffered a heart-wrenching 33-27 loss to the New England Patriots on Sunday, a game that has left both players and fans questioning the team's late-game execution and decision-making. For many, the defeat was a familiar story, highlighting the ongoing struggles of the Dolphins in critical moments when the pressure is highest. At the center of the conversation is quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, whose late interception, coupled with a turnover on downs in the closing seconds, ultimately sealed the team's fate. The weight of these mistakes was felt not only on the field but reverberated through the stadium, where fans expressed their frustration in unmistakable ways, including banners calling for significant organizational changes. In the aftermath, both Tagovailoa and head coach Mike McDaniel spoke candidly about the breakdowns that cost Miami a winnable game, giving insight into what went wrong and where the team needs to improve. From the opening kickoff, it was clear that the Dolphins faced an uphill battle. Trailing 12-0 early in the game, Miami struggled to find its rhythm against a Patriots defense that had clearly prepared for their offensive schemes. Despite showing flashes of resilience and skill as the game progressed, the Dolphins found themselves in a familiar position late in the fourth quarter, trailing, with the pressure mounting and the path to victory narrowing with each play. On their penultimate possession, Tua Tagovailoa attempted to make a fourth down play, but the pass resulted in an interception, a moment that seemed to encapsulate the team's struggles with execution and communication. Then, in a final, desperate bid to retake control, the Dolphins faced a sack on a critical play, ending the drive and extinguishing any hope of a comeback. For Miami fans, the sequence was painfully familiar, echoing late-game mishaps from previous weeks and raising questions about the team's ability to perform under pressure. After the game, Tua Tagovailoa addressed the media, visibly frustrated but determined to analyze the situation critically. Speaking about the late-game confusion, he emphasized that the whole operation was not up to standard, a candid admission that highlighted the broader challenges the team faces beyond individual plays. "We have until the 15-second mark until it cuts off with communication with Mike McDaniel," Tagovailoa explained, referencing the time constraints and the pressure to execute precise play calls under intense scrutiny. He elaborated on the difficulties of communication within the huddle, pointing out that misalignments and misunderstandings contributed to the failed plays. Frustrated with guys with communication inside the huddle. "Do we have too many guys in? The whole operation was not up to standard, not up to par. The pre-snap communication, the timing, that is where the alert is. Trying to find the urgency back for our team," Tagovailoa said, laying bare the complexities and pressures of late-game scenarios in the NFL. Tagovailoa also reflected on his personal contributions to the late-game failures, acknowledging both the interception and the sack that ended the final drive. The interception, on the penultimate possession, was trying to make a play on fourth down. "I wanted to give one of those guys a chance," he admitted. The sack, to end Miami's final possession, was trying to maneuver in the pocket. His words revealed a quarterback aware of both his own responsibility and the collective execution challenges faced by his teammates. While Tagovailoa's intent was to create opportunities and make decisive plays, the outcome underscored the thin margin for error in high-stakes situations, where split-second decisions can determine the difference between victory and defeat. Head coach Mike McDaniel echoed many of the concerns raised by his quarterback, expressing his own frustration over the late-game breakdowns and acknowledging the need for improvement. Speaking with the Miami Herald, McDaniel admitted that the team's communication and execution during critical moments were not up to par. He did not shy away from responsibility, stating plainly, "There's coaches and players that did not execute communication with the game on the line. Our communication and substitution were not up to par. But ultimately, I hold responsibility for all things. I will make sure that things that should be ironed out will be, so that we won't fall victim to the same thing again." His comments underscored a leadership approach that combines accountability with a commitment to solutions, highlighting the urgency of correcting course before further damage is done in the season. McDaniel's reflections went beyond the immediate mistakes of the game, touching on larger issues in team performance that have emerged over the first two games of the season. "We have to tighten up our football entirely," We can't wait until the second half to get a stop. We can't have a monumental special teams play negated by a monumental special teams play, he said, stressing the importance of consistent performance from start to finish. His words painted a picture of a team capable of flashes of brilliance, but often undermined by lapses in execution and focus. Guys are very frustrated. Like I told the team, it makes me even more venomous for the way the team responded to a start we didn't want again, McDaniel admitted, conveying a mixture of frustration and resolve, emotions that resonate deeply with both players and fans as Miami looks to redefine its season trajectory. The reaction from fans has been swift and unfiltered. Beyond the criticism on social media, a banner flown over the Dolphins stadium called for the firing of both Mike McDaniel and general manager Chris Greer, a stark reminder of the impatience and high expectations that come with professional sports. While such demonstrations of discontent can feel extreme, they also reflect the broader narrative of Miami's struggles, a team full of talent but consistently falling short when it matters most. The interplay between media scrutiny, fan expectations, and internal accountability adds another layer of complexity for the Dolphins as they attempt to stabilize their performance and regain confidence on the field. Despite the frustration, there remains a sense of potential for redemption. Miami enters the next game against AFC East rival Buffalo Bills with an opportunity to reset, correct errors, and prove that the early season missteps do not define the team's trajectory. The challenge is substantial, but the stakes also provide clarity. Improved communication, tighter execution, and heightened urgency can turn a team that falters under pressure into one capable of competing at the highest level. Tagovailoa and McDaniel both highlighted the importance of urgency, focus, and cohesion, suggesting that the Dolphins recognize the path forward is as much mental as it is physical. Every play, every huddle, and every decision will need to reflect this renewed focus if Miami hopes to reverse the narrative and capture its first win of the season. The loss to the Patriots, while disappointing, also serves as a lens through which the Dolphins can examine their operations, identify weaknesses, and hold themselves accountable. From the quarterback's pre-snap frustrations to the head coach's reflections on overall team discipline, the themes are clear. Execution, communication, and composure under pressure are areas that demand immediate attention. As Miami prepares for Thursday night's showdown against Buffalo, the team faces a dual challenge of proving their competence on the field while addressing the deeper organizational and tactical issues highlighted by the Patriots game. In a league where margins are razor-thin, the lessons from Sunday could define the Dolphins' season, either as a turning point toward cohesion and success or as a continuation of late-game disappointments that haunt teams year after year. In the end, the Dolphins' story against the Patriots is one of promise and peril intertwined. Talent and skill are evident on every drive, yet the execution falters when precision and timing are most needed. Tua Tagovailoa's candid reflections, combined with Mike McDaniel's acknowledgement of broader systemic issues, paint a portrait of a team aware of its shortcomings and committed to growth. The narrative now shifts to action, as the Dolphins prepare to face the Bills in a matchup that offers both redemption and reckoning. For fans, the message is clear. Patience may be thin, criticism may be loud, but the potential for the Dolphins to overcome adversity and achieve late-game composure remains, provided the lessons of Sunday are absorbed and applied without hesitation. As Miami moves forward, the focus must be on execution, urgency, and unity, key ingredients that can transform frustration into triumph and turn close losses into defining victories for the season ahead. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world is buzzing today with a rumor that seems almost too shocking to believe. Yet sources close to the league are reportedly confirming some of the most dramatic shifts in recent seasons. Tyreek Hill, the electric wide receiver who has lit up fields with speed that defies belief and plays that make defenses look frozen in time, might be facing the unthinkable, a league-imposed ban. Yes, you heard that right. The same Tyreek Hill who has been a highlight reel staple for years, the man who made Dolphins fans dream of unstoppable aerial attacks, could be sidelined not due to injury, not due to contract disputes, but due to something far more serious. Conversations in locker rooms and across social media threads are heating up, with whispers suggesting that this is more than just a temporary suspension or a slap on the wrist. It's a complete ban from the NFL. According to the murmurs making their way through credible insiders, the decision comes after an investigation that has reportedly involved multiple facets of the league's conduct and compliance departments. While no official statement has been released yet to the public, the confidence in these whispers is strong, enough that even casual fans are pausing mid-scroll to double-check. People are speculating what could have possibly led to such an extreme measure. Some are suggesting off-field issues that had previously flown under the radar. Others are pointing to contractual conflicts amplified by league policies. And there are even those who hint at personal conduct investigations that may have intensified behind closed doors. The speculation itself has become a sort of wildfire, spreading from fan forums to sports talk shows, with analysts breaking down Hill's career, his impact on the Dolphins, and what this could mean for the league's image. Imagine it for a second. A player who has been the cornerstone of Miami's offensive game plan, known for turning what looks like a simple screen pass into a 70-yard touchdown sprint, suddenly being banned. The ripple effect is massive. Dolphins coaches, teammates, and even rival teams are now reportedly trying to digest the news. The locker room atmosphere is said to be tense, with veteran players quietly strategizing for a season that might unfold without one of its most explosive talents. Dolphins fans, meanwhile, are torn between disbelief and outrage. Social media hashtags have already started trending, some calling for clarity, others demanding accountability. The sentiment is clear. Whether you loved him for his plays or criticized him for his demeanor, Tyreek Hill's absence would leave a gaping hole in both the Dolphins' strategy and the broader narrative of the NFL season. The timing of these rumors also fuels speculation. The NFL season is approaching a critical phase, and teams are scrambling to finalize rosters and game plans. If Hill's ban is confirmed, it could force a complete reshuffle, not only in Miami's offensive strategy, but also in the trade market, where other teams may see opportunities to acquire talent in response to such a high-profile void. Analysts on morning shows and late-night segments are reportedly already running simulations. How would the Dolphins adapt? Who would step up as the primary playmaker? Could this be a chance for emerging stars to finally claim the spotlight? Rumors suggest that Dolphins management has been quietly meeting with free agents, perhaps anticipating a scenario where Hill's contributions are suddenly removed from the equation. Every conversation, every shake of the head in press rooms, and every fleeting comment from players seems to hint that this is more than speculation. It's a story that is rapidly becoming reality. There is also an undeniable media frenzy surrounding this developing story. Rumors suggest that major networks are preparing exclusive interviews and deep dives into both Hill's career and the circumstances leading to this potential ban. Commentators are highlighting his career statistics, Pro Bowl appearances, and game-changing moments, contrasting them with the sudden shadow that looms over his future. The narrative is compelling. A man who once seemed untouchable, a player whose speed on the field often left defenders grasping at air, could now find himself entirely out of the league. Some insiders are hinting that the decision, if it becomes official, might not just affect the NFL. It could ripple into Hill's endorsements, personal brand, and even his legacy in the sport. Despite the rumors, there is a sense of suspense hanging over the story. Sources close to the NFL are being intentionally vague, refusing to comment directly while fueling a controlled drip of information that keeps fans on the edge of their seats. Sports podcasts are buzzing with inside sources who claim to have knowledge of the ban, each adding their interpretation, whether dramatic or cautious. Analysts are dissecting past incidents in the league that led to suspensions and bans, comparing them to the current situation with Hill, and drawing parallels that make the story feel both unprecedented and, strangely, believable. The intrigue lies in the unknown, in the shadowy process of league investigations that fans rarely get to see. The idea that a player of Hill's caliber could be removed from the game entirely is enough to dominate conversations for weeks, creating a blend of rumor, anticipation, and collective anxiety among NFL followers. For Miami, the implications are staggering. Tyreek Hill has been more than just a player. He's been a symbol of the team's offensive dynamism, a living highlight reel that keeps stadiums electrified and televisions glued to games. The Dolphins' playbook has been built around his speed and agility, and coaches are now reportedly scrambling to rework schemes that may have relied too heavily on his presence. There's also an emotional component. Teammates who have shared victories, defeats, and countless hours of practice may be processing a combination of shock and frustration. Even rival teams are reportedly taking note, recalibrating strategies in anticipation of a Dolphins offense potentially stripped of its most dangerous weapon. In a league where one player can influence entire seasons, the ramifications of Hill's potential ban could be historic. Meanwhile, fans and commentators are engaging in feverish debates online. The rumor mill is exploding with opinions ranging from outrage at the league's decision to skepticism about the legitimacy of the ban. Memes and heated Twitter threads abound, with people dissecting every possible angle: contract clauses, league policies, potential legal implications, and the historical context of similar incidents. Speculation has reached a fever pitch, as insiders tease that the final decision could come at any moment, possibly within the next few days, which would set the stage for one of the most dramatic and publicized moments in recent NFL history. Even sports betting forums are reportedly adjusting odds, anticipating a season-changing disruption to the Dolphins' offensive efficiency. Amid all this chaos, one thing is clear: the mere rumor of Tyreek Hill being banned has captured the imagination of the sports world. Analysts, fans, and casual observers alike are glued to every update, parsing each statement, tweet, or press release for clues. The story has all the elements of a sports thriller: a star player, a high-stakes investigation, a team on the brink, and a league that rarely removes its marquee talent. Whether this turns out to be a permanent ban, a temporary suspension, or a media-fueled exaggeration, the ripple effects are already being felt across stadiums, living rooms, and social media platforms worldwide. Tyreek Hill's potential ban has become more than just a news item. It's a narrative that encapsulates the drama, unpredictability, and human stories that make the NFL not just a sport, but a spectacle. And while the league remains silent, the rumor itself continues to grow, feeding the imagination of fans and insiders alike, who are left wondering, could this be the end of an era, or just the beginning of yet another shocking twist in the unpredictable saga of professional football? That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.